All right, everybody, buckle up. We're diving deep today into the mind of Elon Musk. And
sounds fun.
Yeah. Our source material is, well...
That's gotta be good.
It's a Joe Rogan podcast interview.
Okay.
So, not exactly,
academic, but we gotta admit.
You gotta admit.
When Elon talks, people
listen.
They listen. So, we're gonna pull out the big ideas from this interview.
Yeah.
What's he saying about the future?
Yeah.
And what does that mean, for all of us?
Right.
Quick disclaimer, though.
Yeah.
Things might get...
a little spicy.
A little political, yeah. But we are Switzerland. Okay.
Switzerland.
No opinions here, just the facts.
Just the facts.
So, one thing that really jumped out at me was this Doge team thing.
Yeah.
Auditing the U.S. government for waste. He had this crazy statistic.
Oh, yeah. $2 trillion?
$2 trillion a year.
Yeah.
Gone.
Poof.
And they're failing their own audits.
I can't even imagine.
I know. It's like, how?
And he gives this example about Senator Collins giving the Navy like $12 billion for submarines.
Submarines.
Guess how many they got? None.
Zero.
Zip. Zilch.
Wild.
It's just, where's the money going?
That's the $1 million question. Or $1 trillion.
Right. So Elon's got some ideas to fix this.
Okay, like what?
He wants payment codes, comments on every treasury payment.
Every single one?
Every single one. Like a digital paper trail.
So you can actually see where it's going.
Exactly. Accountability.
Makes sense.
Oh, and get this. 20 million dead people?
Wait, what?
In the Social Security database? Still marked as alive?
That's asking for fraud.
Right. Talk about vulnerabilities.
Yeah, huge ones.
Okay, let's move on to something a little more fun.
Please.
SpaceX.
Oh, yeah.
They're launching 90%.
90%?
90% of all satellite mass.
To orbit.
To orbit. That's more than everyone else combined.
That's insane.
I know, right? But it's not easy.
No, I imagine not.
He talks about this heat shield for Starship.
Oh, for re-entry.
Yeah, fully reusable, never been done.
Because it's incredibly difficult.
Right. Like you're a flaming meteor coming back.
Basically.
How do you design something that survives that over and over?
It doesn't, just crumble.
Exactly. He talked about thermal expansion, the whole ship bending.
Oh, wow.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But the stakes are high.
Yeah, I mean...
He wants Mars to be self-sufficient.
Like a backup planet.
Exactly. In case something happens to Earth.
Wow, that's thinking ahead.
Right. And that brings us to another big one.
AI.
AI. He predicts AI will be smarter than us.
Than us.
Than the smartest human. By next year?
That soon?
Yeah. And by 2030, smarter than all humans combined.
That's a little scary.
It is. And he's worried about OpenAI.
Which he co-founded, right?
Yeah. It's gone closed source and for profit.
Which seems kind of against his whole thing.
Right. It's all about, will AI benefit humanity?
Or just the people who own it.
Exactly. And he gave this example.
The misgendering one.
Yeah, like AI thinking that's worse than nuclear war.
Seriously.
Seriously. Talk about messed up priorities.
Absolutely. You got to be careful with those parameters.
You do. But he's not all doom and gloom, though.
No.
He says 80% chance of a positive outcome.
If we do it right.
If we harness it correctly. He talked about medical diagnoses.
Oh, like with Grok.
Yeah. And even AI coming up with the solutions for government.
AI running the government.
That's what he's suggesting. Kind of wild, right?
It is. But it makes you think.
It does. Okay, before we go full sci-fi, let's talk about Elon and the media. He was like a hero of the left.
Right.
And now, not so much.
Not so much.
It's crazy how polarized everything's become.
You're either with them or against them.
Yeah, no nuance allowed. And he's clearly frustrated.
Yeah, I can imagine.
He even talked about 2 people arrested for trying to kill him.
Wow, right.
In Austin. Like, it's not just online hate anymore.
It's real-world consequences.
Exactly. And then he brings up the assassination attempt on Trump.
Oh, in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, the whole thing sounded super shady.
Like, more to the story than we know.
And here's the kicker. Elon says he has to be careful.
Careful about what?
About how much he pushes on government corruption. He's worried about his safety. It's like a spy movie.
It is. What does that say about us?
Right. Speaking truth to power can be dangerous.
Apparently so.
So we've got government waste, SpaceX, AI, threats against Elon.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. What's standing out to you so far?
I don't know. I'm just struck by his willingness to talk about all this.
Yeah.
All these complex, controversial things.
He doesn't shy away.
Nope. He's asking the tough questions.
He is. And making us think
exactly
about where we go from here with all this stuff.
AI, the government, everything.
Right. What do we do about it?
Big questions.
Big questions.
And it makes you think about, the role of government itself. Like, remember that AI thing he mentioned?
Oh, yeah. Designing a better system.
Right. Like, what if an AI could actually...
see all the inefficiencies?
Yeah. And figure out solutions for poverty or healthcare.
That would be incredible.
Right. A truly objective government.
But would we even be willing to,
hand over that much power?
Exactly. Would we trust an AI to...
make those decisions for us?
Yeah.
It's a huge question.
And speaking of things that make you wonder...
oh, boy.
What about those Epstein files?
All that hype and then gone.
Even Elon was like, what happened?
Yeah, he made a good point, though.
What's that?
If Ghislaine Maxwell is...
behind bars?
Yeah, for trafficking, then shouldn't the clients...
be held accountable, too?
It's just weird how quiet it all got.
Super unsettling.
It makes you think about
whether justice is really equal.
Right. Or are some people just...
untouchable.
Yeah. And it's not the only time Elon...
oh, yeah. What else?
He was skeptical about that assassination attempt on Trump.
In Butler.
Yeah. He's like, how did someone get that close?
Seriously. Yeah. It's like nobody noticed.
It does make you think about security.
For sure.
And whether we're getting the whole story. Which brings us back to Elon.
Having to be careful.
Yeah. About what he says.
Especially about corruption.
Right. Because he's literally...
worried for his life.
And with good reason.
2 people already tried to.
It's scary. That's like...
it's not a game anymore.
No, it's not just online trolls.
Exactly. It's real-world danger.
And it's crazy how that's led to him being...
vilified.
Yeah, by the same people who used to love him.
It's like overnight, he became...
public enemy number 1.
The media is powerful.
For sure.
Elon thinks it's because of the Doge team.
Oh, yeah. Disrupting that money flow.
To certain powerful groups.
So of course they're not going to be happy.
Right. He said it's like kicking a money...
hornet's nest.
Exactly.
You mess with the status quo, you get stung.
So we've got government waste, potential AI overlords...
conspiracy theories.
And Elon as like this...
lone wolf fighting the system.
It's a lot to process.
It really is. And it makes you think about...
about what?
Like, what role should government play?
Yeah, good question.
And how do we make sure technology is actually helping us?
Not the other way around. Okay, what about you?
What's really resonating with me is his belief in innovation.
He does love to innovate.
Like whether it's space travel or clean energy or even just...
fixing the government.
Yeah. He's always pushing boundaries.
Always. And speaking of pushing boundaries...
well, here we go.
Twitter. Or X, I guess.
That was a bold move.
It was. It really stirred things up.
People were freaking out.
About free speech.
Right. Is it too much?
He's all about free speech, though.
He wants X to be like a...
digital town square.
where everyone can have their say.
And he brought back some controversial figures.
Like who?
Trump, Alex Jones.
That definitely got people talking.
Yeah, some people think that's dangerous.
Well, because they say it could lead to...
misinformation.
Yeah, and hate speech.
It's a tough balance, though.
It is. How do you protect people, but also...
let them speak freely.
Exactly.
But Elon thinks censorship is...
a slippery slope.
Yeah. He's betting on the truth winning out.
in the marketplace of ideas.
It's a gamble.
A big one. But it shows his faith in...
open dialogue.
Yeah, that by exposing people to different viewpoints.
Even offensive ones.
Right. It'll ultimately...
help us combat misinformation.
Exactly.
And he applies that to AI, too.
Oh, yeah. He's not a fan of...
the closed source stuff.
Right. And we want everything to be transparent.
So we can make sure AI is developed ethically.
It's an idealistic vision.
But then again, so is...
Elon Musk.
Exactly. He's always pushing us to...
think bigger.
Yeah. And challenge what we think we know.
To imagine what's possible.
And whether you agree with him or not...
you gotta admit...
he's one of the most...
influential people of our time.
For sure. His ideas are shaping the world.
And it's up to us to decide what kind of world we want.
Okay, before we wrap up...
one last thing.
one last thing. Elon made this comment about...
what was it?
the weakness of Western civilization.
Oh, right. He talked about... and how it can be weaponized. Civilizational suicidal empathy, I think he called it.
Yeah. Like, well-intentioned, but
misguided,
leading to policies that actually harm us.
It's a really interesting point.
It is. It's like we need to be more...
discerning with our empathy.
Exactly. We got to think long-term.
Not just react emotionally.
Especially in today's world where everyone's trying to...
manipulate our emotions.
Exactly.
So it's more important than ever to...
think critically.
Yes.
Question everything.
We can make sure our actions are actually...
helping create a better future.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Man, we've covered some serious ground today. From like government waste to space travel, AI. It's a lot.
It is. It's amazing how he ties it all together, though.
Yeah, there's this thread of, technology can be good,
but we got to be careful with it.
Right. Like, use it wisely. Which brings us back to that AI government thing.
Oh, yeah. Could an AI actually
design a better system?
Imagine that. No more corruption, just pure data-driven decisions.
It's kind of tempting. It is. A government that actually works for the people.
But could we really give up that control?
That's the big question.
Like, trust in AI with our lives, basically.
And what about the human element? Would we lose something?
It's a debate that's not going away anytime soon.
Nope. But it shows how Elon makes us think.
He does. Challenges our assumptions about how things work.
Exactly.
He's not afraid to push the boundaries.
Whether it's with his companies or his ideas or just
speaking his mind.
He's definitely not afraid to ruffle some feathers.
And in doing so, he's making us confront these big questions.
Like, what's the role of technology? How do we balance progress with being responsible? What kind of future do we actually want?
Big stuff.
Big stuff. So, wrapping up this deep dive into Elon's world.
It's clear there are no easy answers.
Nope. But what's important is
asking the right questions.
Yeah. And challenging the way things are.
And never being afraid to think differently.
Like Elon. He showed us you can dream big and actually
think different.
Exactly. So yeah, maybe one day we will have an AI helping us run things.
But hopefully it's a little less
unhinged sexy than Grok.
Yeah, let's keep that one on the back burner for now. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep those minds open, and we'll catch you next time.